I'm often asked a question, what is a Plan B passport and why do I need one? And I get this question quite a bit from our UK and American clients because the citizenship by investment industry is not so well known in the US and Europe right now. It historically is mainly used by people in Asia like China and Iran and people from all parts of the globe who were investing in a better passport. And people born in the United States or Europe generally didn't need this because they already had a pretty good passport. But we're seeing more and more interest from these countries. As governments change and political shifts happen, people are waking up to the fact that actually there is an entire globe out there and you could live a better life elsewhere by restructuring yourself. Even if you don't leave your home country, it's good to have an option, a backup if things go wrong. We often say it's like fire insurance. You're better off buying the insurance before the fire starts. And that's where Plan B passport comes in. So let me give you an example. So I've got a list here of countries who will and have been known to restrict your movement by your passport. So this is governments who will control you and they'll use your passport to do so. So let me read off. The list is pretty long. I'm going to give you the top 5. The United States, they have a policy, and they're well known for this, that if you have unpaid child support, they will restrict your passport, i.e. they will stop you using your passport to travel if you have unpaid child support. Now, obviously that doesn't account for anybody, it is probably just for more extreme cases, but it's something they do again and again and again. They will use your passport to restrict your movement if you have unpaid child support. Well, some people may agree with that. But it's a principle. It's a principle of a government controlling you. So you are born free. That's my view. Wherever you are in the world, you have certain rights. One of those rights is to leave the country you're in, should you wish. So for government to hold you ransom by pausing your passport, I do not think is fair. And this is an example. So USA, unpaid child support, they might restrict your passport. The UK, where I'm from originally, if you are of national security interest, so if they deem you are a risk to national security, they will cancel your passport. Seems a bit odd. If you're a risk to national security, surely they want you out of the country. But hey, that's their business. And then Germany. Now this has happened quite a few times. In Germany, you can have your passport restricted or taken away if you have tax or criminal case. So if the government is pursuing you for tax or criminal matter, they could restrict your passport. Brazil. This happens a lot. In Brazil, a court order is enough to have your passport stopped. Now, there's a very famous case with Bolsonaro, the former president. He had his passport restricted or cancelled. I'm not sure exactly what, but they basically took his passport away so he could not move. He could not leave the country. And they put him in a prison. Now, we had a huge amount of inquiries. Our web traffic went crazy for a week after his arrest when his passport was taken. A lot of Brazilians were pretty scared it could happen to them, and it does. Brazilian courts, time and time again, restrict people's passports. Then you've got India, and we get quite a few inquiries from India. So again, any pending criminal proceedings, they can restrict your passport and movement. Now, you may say, well, good, that's fine, that's how it should be. But not for everybody. Not everybody agrees with that, because if you have just one citizenship, if you have one government, what controls you, that, in my opinion, and with a lot of people, do not think it's fair. And that's why we say have a plan B. You see, if you have 2 citizenships, you are in control of your life, not the government. It gives you a lot more options. And you can just buy a passport. See, a lot of countries, some of the smaller countries in the Caribbean and parts of Africa and the Pacific, they will sell you a citizenship. And with that citizenship comes a passport. Now, there's quite a bit of due diligence. It's not easy. A bit like when you open a bank account, you have to go and submit a lot of information. You have to do the same with these passport applications. And there's a lot of due diligence. You don't have to just submit your bank statement. You have to show proof of funds, counting receipts, where your money came from, how you're earning it, how you're going to earn it in the future. You have to submit a clean criminal record. You have to provide a lot of due diligence. And that's just on our side of getting your application ready to apply. When we pass that to the local government, they will do even more checks because they have access to a lot more tools than we do. So it's a pretty robust process. But if you make a donation to one of these countries and meet their criteria for citizenship, they will give you a passport. Prices are as follows. You can buy a passport for around $100,000. Countries like Sao Tome, Nauru, Vanuatu, $100,000, $120,000 will get you a citizenship. Caribbean's a little bit more, looking more like $200,000 to $400,000. And then there are other programs, some in Europe, where you can invest in a program what can lead to a passport. That's a little bit more complex, but we do talk clients through it. So you have options, but a lot of people have woken up to the fact that they want a plan B. They say, I like where I am, I'm happy, but what if it goes wrong? And I've seen it go wrong in other countries. I want options. And here's an interesting one. Right now, if you're a German man of military age, you have to ask the German government permission to leave the country for more than 3 months. That is because Germany is fully aware there could be a war on the doorstep of Europe. I mean, it already is happening in Russia, Ukraine. If that gets worse, then European guys and people of fighting age could be called to war. Well, that would be a classic example. If you were dead against that, you really did not want to be involved in a war, well, having 2 citizenships would be a sidestep. You could quite legally use your second citizenship to reside abroad and not be called. So there are lots of different reasons you might have a second passport. And if you would like further information, well, drop me a message. You can visit the website, frederickcapital.com, or send me a DM, and myself and the team will be very happy to help.